All right. Well, I'm eating popcorn after that teaser for the summer action movie of the year. I'm going to bring up, if you want to see the accumulated clues, by the way, Everyday Heroes is here. And if you come down here to Cthulhu, Choose Your Own Adventure, you can see what we've discovered so far in Alone Against the Tide. Now, these are the major clues. This isn't every text box that we've encountered. But if it seems like there's something pertinent, very relevant. And this is what we're going to be doing now. So, all right, be well, Mage. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did. So with that, let's come back here. We're on page 29. And what is the first item on which we should bid? I gotta close Discord. There are 6 items. Clay cylinders that seem to be related to an altar, but those are separate. There's a crown and a ceremonial robe, which seem to go together but are separate. There's a journal, which is its own thing, and the strange idol, which is its own thing. So what is chat's sentiment? What would you like to bid on first? If it were me, I'd say the professor's journal. As we've been sent here by Miskatonic University, I mean, not that we can't get his other stuff, but to, get items of note from him. Since the university heard about his passing. Yep. Well, I'm sorry, Scandian, if you said it. I might have been away or something. All right. Well, then maybe idle. All right, let's see what happens. To bid on the journal. You feel that the information in the journal is essential to your interests, and you cannot help but make a bid. You place your paper with the others and hope that Mr. Warren calls your name when the amounts are compared. All right, we need an appraise or a credit rating. And so, Scannion, appraise is 5%, credit rating is 60%. Roll it, choose which one, and tell me what you're rolling. Or roll for it. Alright, I presume you want a 60 or below then. $69 is nice, but that's more than our credit rating. Do you want to spend 9 luck, or do you want to roll a D10 for a fickle god and hopefully get a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? All right, you're choosing Fickle God. Let me mark it off. Lands on a 5. That is now a 59, and you barely squeaked it in there. You feel that the knowledge in these pages could very well prove essential to you, so you offer a price that is more than fair. Sure enough, Mr. Warren calls your name and presses the leather-bound tome into your eager hands. Reduce your credit rating by 2 percentiles. All right. Credit rating. Is now at 58. What do you want to roll on next? I think Scannion and Hero Dragon said idle. Are there any other propositions? Do you want to go for the idle next? Do you want to go hard into another thing? Idle? Okay. Do you want to bring up a quick point as to why we should pursue the cylinder and or altar instead of the idle, Awkward Mancer? Otherwise, you might be... You think you know what the idol is, the other two are unknowns. Alright. Well, Sierra, you said idol. Do you want the idol, or do you want to go for the cylinders, or altar? The journal only cost us 2. Maybe. Maybe. Right, but we have to do it one at a time, Scannion. Let's do things. Let's do this. This is open for 1 minute. 1 minute in chat. Everyone gets 1 vote. Do you want to get the idol next, the cylinders, or the altar? That seems to be the conversation. It's only open for 1 minute. There's 45 seconds left. Go, go, go. Get your vote in. Do you want to get the idol, get the cylinders, or get the altar? No point vote, Awkward Mancer, because I want to keep this going, and I think that there's people who would just vote 11 billion in each and tie it up, and I'd rather not have a tie. All right. 6 points to 1 cylinder, 1 altar. The idol is next. Something draws you to the curious idol, and you feel compelled to make a bid. You notice that you're not alone in this, as the monk and one of the dark-suited men both place bids of their own into the box. You hope that yours is high enough. All right, Awkward Mancer. You can make an appraise at 5% or credit rating at 58%. Both are at extreme difficulty. Which means appraise is 1%, credit rating is 12%. You don't need to type roll. It's just exclamation point 1D100. But you're rolling credit, and you need a 12 or below. Alright, 76 isn't going to do it. However, you can blow an insane amount of luck. Or, if you use a Fickle God's Favor and you roll a 10, that would be an aught 6, meaning that you would succeed. Would you like to use a Fickle God's Favor or blow a tremendous... Okay, Fickle God. Roll 1d10. One d10, we're replacing the 10. Lands on a 10, which is the 0. You did it, Awkward Mancer. Pardon, I have popcorn apparently in my beard. 10 is the 0 on that. So, you rolled, and you did win. Well, I don't know what you won, but you got under what you need. Alright. Clearly, none of the others expected anyone to pay such a ludicrous price for the crude idol. You still can't believe how much money you offered for it, but the grotesque and misshapen thing is now yours. The monk and the men in dark suits stare daggers at you, but nobody else seems to mind or take much notice beyond a few raised eyebrows that anyone would pay such an excessive amount for such a trifling and outlandish thing. Still, when you look Amelia's way, you can tell she is quite pleased. Reduce your credit rating by 10. We now have a credit rating of 48. Okay. It seemed like the instruction manual or the cylinders were the popular one next. Is this true? Do you all want to go for the cylinders next? Am I hearing any dissent? You all up here are the brain cells of our character. Alright, the brain cells are unanimous. Go to 24. Oh, I can't click on it for some weird reason. Alright, 24. You write a reasonable bid for the pair of clay cylinders and place it in the box. Shortly after you do so, Mr. Warren clears the box and begins checking the bids. Make an appraise or credit rating. Let's have... who hasn't rolled in a while? Sierra, or not Sierra. Mage went to lurk. Iron Chef, are you still hanging out? Who out there hasn't rolled yet or in a while? Alright. Iron Chef Lord. I presume you want to roll credit rating. I need a 48 or below on a D100. Sierra, I can get you next. Oh, this is at hard difficulty, so you actually need a... you need a 30 or below. Oh, it stops on a 2. I think you passed. Okay. You muster your patience and wait for Mr. Warren to finish comparing the proposed bids for the strange clay cylinders. Thankfully, your patience pays off, and you soon find them in your possession. Reduce your credit rating by 5. We're now down to 43. I presume you want to go for the altar next? A lot like a rug, right, Sierra? Alright, to bid on the altar, go to 103. You decide on a fair bid for the gemstone-studded altar and submit your offer. Not long after, Mr. Warren empties the ballot box and begins sifting through the entries for the highest bid. Make an appraise or credit rating at hard difficulty. Sierra, I told you I'd call on you next. Your credit rating difficulty is now 21 or below. So go ahead and roll it, and you need a 21 or below. A 91 isn't going to do it. And you don't have 70 luck to blow. Do you want to use a Fickle God's Favor? I'll take that as a yes because you rolled it. But a 41, there are currently four. There are currently four favors floating after Sierra redeemed this one. However, we are not successful on the altar. Mr. Warren takes his time mulling over the names and figures before calling out the name of a Dexter James. One of the dark-suited men from earlier comes forward to claim the altar. I am going to snip this because we have a name for someone. All right, so the altar belongs to one of the dark-suited men. Alright, so that was 59. Okay, we go to 81. Alright. The crown, the robe, and that's it. That's what's left. Do you want to bid on the Hindu Brahmin ceremonial crown or robe? All right, the next item, I'm opening up a poll. Do you want to bid on the crown or the robe? It's now open. Vote, vote, vote. It's open for 1 minute. Are we going to try and go for the crown next or the robe next? Hero Dragon is rolling a D100 for some reason and got a 69. $30 seconds left. Get your votes in. Are we getting the crown or the robe? Crown wins 5-2. You decide to place a bid on the crown and affix your name and a suitable price to a slip of paper, which finds its way into the box. You wait patiently for Mr. Warren to announce the highest bidder. All right. Who has not rolled yet or in a while? Any of you out there lurking and you'd like to give it a go? Hero Dragon's on cooldown because of the oopsie on his mobile device. GMV. GMV. I need a... This is normal credit rating. I need a 43 or below on a D100. $92 ain't it. Do you want to Fickle God's favor? Because you don't have enough luck that you can spend. Maybe you do. You'd severely deplete the luck, though. 92 into a 12. That'll do it. You pay a considerable sum, but the Indian crown is now yours. You smile satisfaction as you tuck the bronze headpiece into your briefcase. Reduce your credit rating by 2. All right, all that's left is the robe. All right, Hero Dragon. It looks like this is calling for a regular credit rating. You should be off of cooldown. Hero Dragon, we need a 41 or below. $79, not enough. Do you want to Fickle Got It or no? Is the robe not important? All right, Fickle God. 3 remain. Roll 1d10. It goes from a 79 to a 69. You must like that number, but unfortunately that is not enough. It would seem one of the other collectors here wants this particular... Oh, pardon me. Wants this particular item more than you. The robe is sold for a higher price than you expected and to someone other than yourself. Now, we don't have a name for the robe winner, but we know that we don't have it. All right. Go back to 81. If you're unable or do not wish to bid on any further items, we're going to go to 16. We have the clay cylinders, the crown, the journal, and the strange idol. We have 4. We do not have the altar. The altar went to one of the men in black. And we don't have the Brahmin Road. Your business here is complete. You see the crowd staring covetously at the newly acquired items, and you spot Amelia looking smug and satisfied with a leather bag full of cash. Pardon me. Mr. Warren begins to clear away the tables while Officer Powell stands by the door and directs people out of the building and into the ever-thickening fog. Though some seem content to stay and socialize, you feel that it would be best to bed down for the night. Go to 26. While the estate sale seems interesting, you would feel more secure with a roof over your head for the night. You pull someone out of the crowd and inquire as to where you can find a room to rent. You're directed a few blocks into town for a modestly priced hotel a few buildings down from Esbury's police station. As you enter in from the cool night air, you're greeted by the heat of a roaring fire. The small front room feels stuffy and cramped. The bulk of the space is dominated by the large service counter, behind which sits a wiry-looking wisp of a woman. She turns her wide eyes to you and asks your name, then quotes you a price that's more than fair. With the transaction complete, you haul your thin briefcase up the stairs, unpack it, and settle into your room for the night. You awake in the morning, grateful for the rest. You rise from your bed and take in the modest surroundings that make up your room. The furnishings are sparse. A small, poor-quality dresser and a cramped and dusty writing desk tucked in the corner. Sitting atop the desk is a plate of eggs and toast, apparently set out for you by the hotel's owner. The walls are plain and unadorned, save for a single window that faces towards the lake. However, this view is currently blocked by the incredibly thick fog, which has taken on a pale green hue. Your vision is obscured entirely, and you cannot see into the depths of that outlandish green mist. You also notice your personal belongings placed around the room exactly as you left them the night before. After getting dressed and eating the modest breakfast set out for you, you're ready to begin your day. You take a moment to consider what that means for you. Your mind turns to Professor Harris. If you're so inclined, you might be able to investigate the circumstances of his death further. Considering that you don't have his widow Amelia's address, you would have to start your search with the official report filed with Officer Powell at the police station. Alternatively, you could take this free time to look through your belongings and examine any items you might have. The hotel owner has been in your room, so a check of your things might be in order. Or perhaps you have some other reason to look over your possessions. Finally, if you feel your business in Esbury is concluded, you could always try to find Lance Sanford at the ferry. All right. Police station. Look over your items. Go to the ferry. Check the possessions, check our inventory. Any other notions? Chat, what would you do? What would you do? Items. Awkward Mancer, we already know the sort of police is here, not walking the docks in the fog. Okay. So we're going to look over our items. A cursory inspection of your personal belongings reveals that nothing is amiss. All of your possessions are just as you left them. While you're here looking things over, you can take this opportunity to more closely scrutinize items bought at the estate sale. Alternatively, you may leave and go explore elsewhere if your curiosity is satisfied. After examining each item, you will be redirected to this entry or given the option to proceed as appropriate. If you have none of the items or are done looking over what you bought, choose to investigate elsewhere. All right. Journal, cylinders, idol. We can go to the police station, go to the ferry. Examine it in the order of purchasing. All right. Well. Oh, whatever order's on the page? Okay. Oh, yeah, we did get the journal first anyway. All right, 74. Let's look over the journal. Though you gleaned at the notebook during the estate sale, you haven't had time to properly look it over until now. Reading through the book, you become deeply engrossed and spend the next few hours in the study, or in study. The time spent yields valuable information. Professor Harris made several trips to India, starting about 12 years ago. During these visits, he went to multiple sites to make observations and recover artifacts. His longest and most profitable trip appears to have been 10 years ago during an excursion to Sarnath, India, where he writes about quote-unquote recovering several items from an active Buddhist shrine. Apparently, Professor Harris had some regrets about this theft, but he couldn't resist taking the artifacts for his personal collection. The descriptions of the items he came across in Sarnath match some of the items at the estate sale last night. The clay cylinders, the gem-encrusted altar, and the lizard-like idol are all described in detail in the entries related to his trip to Sarnath. Hi, Wolf Queen Belladonna. Good to see ya. Isn't Sarnath one of the magic runes in Eternal Darkness? That sounds very familiar. Anyway, these same items appear throughout the rest of his journal. He'd clearly been studying them over in the past decade and developed something of a fixation with them. It was the idol that initially caught Harris's eye, and according to him, the depiction of the great and grotesque water lizard matched no description of any known Hindu deity. Hoping to find clues to the idol's identity, Harris set about trying to translate the mysterious script on the cylinders and the altar. In doing so, he met with significant difficulty, as the text was only barely recognizable as an archaic dialect of a pre-Sanskrit language. The process was slow and painstaking until about a year ago. At this time, Professor Harris writes of having a strange and enlightening dream. He reports walking in the ancient world from whence these items originated. A grand city of marble walls and onyx streets, of bronze gates and marvelous palaces and guardians. And gardens. He writes of visiting the 17 tower temples of this ancient city and meeting the bearded gods who dwelled there, sat upon their ivory thrones. Harris calls the strange place Sarnath despite the sheer impossibility of this. He claims that among the temples he learned the secrets of the ancient writing. His next entry goes on to describe the odd clay cylinders as the quote-unquote brick cylinders of Catatheron. Though he hadn't yet identified the other objects. The next few pages have been torn from the journal. The entries resume with more mundane matters, though there are still references to the artifact from time to time. The most recent entries in the journal speak of Harris's daily studies and living with Amelia. It's clear that he cared about her deeply from the way he writes about her, but he laments that his studies keep him from spending the time with her that he would like. Instead, he lavished her with gifts and money, which she was all too happy to accept. He notes that Amelia had never been happier despite the distance between them. The last entry, to catch your eye, is dated a little over a week ago. Apparently, the pages torn from his journal went missing only recently. Professor Harris expresses deep concern at this, as there were no signs of forced entry to his study, and only he and Amelia had access to it, though he was sure he hadn't removed them from the journal himself. You finish your reading by glossing over the last week of the professor's life, which is rather uneventful and peaceful beyond his continued obsession with the artifacts and his occasional worries about Amelia. Now, I think there's clues here. I am going to snip this, and I'll put this over in our Discord channel. Oh, well, thank you for doing so, Belladonna. All right, next up, clay cylinders. You turn the hardened clay cylinders over in your hands, your eyes falling on the large cracks running through both items. Despite this damage, their solid, their solid construction has led to the cylinder's survival throughout the ages. The next most obvious quality is the strange writing plastered along the sides of each cylinder. It's quite remarkable in that it doesn't resemble any language known to you. Unfortunately, you have no way of translating it. All right, I'm going to snip this. We don't have the altar. We do have the idol. You look the idol over. It is made of a sea green stone and chiseled in the likeness of a water lizard of some sort. The sculpture is grotesque and hideous, and the very depiction of the lizard-like creature unnerves you. Still, the work is extremely well preserved and unquestionably ancient. You feel uncomfortable staring at the alien-looking thing for long, so you stow it away under the bed and out of sight. Let's clip this. All right. We can't study the altar. Should we go to the police station to investigate the records of the late professor's death? Or should we just try going to the ferry? Belladonna says investigate the police records. Well, it's currently not an option, Skinian. Awkward Mancer says Fairy, considering our background in yesterday's run-in. I have one for go for the records at the police station and another for leaving. Other sentiment, right up here. Put it in chat. I guess I could put a poll up if that's easier for you all. Well, we don't have a gun on us. Skinian's in a mood tonight. 1 minute poll going up. Police records or One minute, everyone can vote. Let your voice be heard. Do you want to go for the police records, or do you want to get the funk out of here? That's the Fairy. I guess that would be, like, get the Fairy out of here. Oh, this one's close. 30 seconds. Get your votes in, everyone. Get your votes in. This is a close one. Every vote absolutely matters. Please don't tie this. Get your votes in, please, everyone. Six people have voted. Can I have a seventh? Vote, vote, vote. It's almost up. Oh, there we go. At the last minute, someone voted, breaking it 4-3 police records over getting the funk out of here. You step out into the greenish mist. You feel it clinging tightly to you as you make your way the short distance to the police station. Upon entering the small brick building, you are struck with a sense of claustrophobia. The walls here are uncomfortably close together, and space is tight. Crammed into the tiny structure are a large desk, several filing cabinets, and a few chairs. A closet-sized holding cell with iron bars sits at the rear of the room. Behind the large desk is Officer Powell, smoking a cigar with his feet propped up on the table. His coat is unbuttoned, and his hat lies on top of a stack of papers next to a battered old revolver. He opens one eye and frowns at you, sighing through his cigar as he straightens himself up to look presentable. If you're bothering me right now, I'm going to assume this is important. You mentioned that you would like to see the police report for Professor William Harris's death, to which he replies with a snort. You have no business dealing with that, and even if you did, this is my jurisdiction. Shove off and leave me in peace. He doesn't seem cooperative, but perhaps you could convince him that you have some special circumstance that warrants you to looking through his files. All right, Belladonna. Hi, Heretic Trance. Belladonna, to make a fast talk, I need you to roll a percentile in chat, and our fast talk is 5%. So let's see what happens. $51. So, not enough. You could either dump most of your luck into this roll, or you can use a Fickle God's Favor and pray that you get a 10 on the D10. So, do you just want to let it be? Burn almost all your luck? Actually, wait, can you even do that? Yeah, you have 59. Or do you want to use a Fickle God Favor? Alright, roll a D10. And that replaces the 10s of the 51. So it's either a 51 or a 51. We go to 101 now. You try to convince the officer that you have a particularly good reason for needing access to the file, but he simply doesn't care. Scram, stranger. You're ruining my smoke. If you want to dig at the dead guy, go bother his widow. Her place is over on the north side of town, right next to the church. Can't damn well miss it. Officer Powell will be of no more help at this time. Do you want to return to the hotel or go find the Harris house? Apparently Awkward Mancer is noticing things. Alright, chap. You want to go find the widow? Or do you want to go back to the hotel? You think we can flirt with the widow again? Anyone else backing this up, or have the other directive in mind? Scanian wants to run away. All right. Well. A minute poll is up. Do we go visit the widow or do we go back to our hotel? For all we know, they're gone, Scanian. We haven't heard of anything from those men in black yet. Not after the auction. We also don't have a firearm. Alright, 6 votes. 5-1 currently, widow to hotel. Well, whoever voted for hotel, if we die in the widow's house, you 2 people. You can say I told you so. Looks like seeing the widow is going to win. All right. Go find the Harris house. We're going to entry 90. You walk into town towards the Harris address. Even knowing the location, it's difficult for you to find your way due to your unfamiliarity with the town and the density of the peculiar green mist. As a result, it's some time before you arrive at the Harris house. As you approach the building, a man steps out of the fog, blocking your path. He is young and thin, with rather angular features and the faint hint of a mustache atop his lip. He's dressed in a dark suit and stares at you from beneath his flat cap. You're an unwelcome surprise. I don't know what you're looking for, but you won't find it here. Your eyes betray you as you glance at the Harris house. This man scowls visibly. Why don't you leave the poor widow alone, you creep? If you want to bother her, you're going to have to get through old Joshua here, capiche? His hand brushes beneath his coat as if searching for something, but then he stops himself. He pauses for a moment, looking you over once more before spitting on the ground at your feet and turning away. We can call out to Joshua. We can continue to the Harris house, or we can heed his warning and go back to the hotel. Call out. Go to house. Turn back. The 1 minute poll is up. Hi, Thantos. Not an option, Scanian. We can shout out to him. Why are you in such a murder hobo mood right now, Scanian? What has you in such a murder hobo mood? Get your votes in. Do we call out to Joshua, the man that we just met? Do we just continue to the Harris house anyway? Or do we turn back? Get your votes in. Whether you've been here just now like Thantos or you've been here forever. Like Awkward Mancer. Hey, thank you, Thantos.
Macabar deg heros o popyn raven 14 sgillhert heros o popyn macabar deg hepe.
4-4, really? Y'all. "23 of you watching, only 8 of you voted. And it's a split 4-4. Alright. I'm going to roll a d10. On a 1 through 5, it's a call out. On a 6 through 10, we're going to the house. Lands on a 9, we are just going to the house. Despite Joshua's urgings, I've had a lot of popcorn. Hang on, I gotta set this down. Actually, you know what? We're walking about in a foggy, some kind of Silent Hill town. Surely, I have walking around in like a haunted, foggy town music. Not that one. This might be it. this works? Well, I have a noir procedural. It's a little bit more modern, though. This is called Barovian Village. I have this other one called Ghost Town. Maybe this one works. All right. Sorry. I had popcorn, so of course I have little doodads stuck in my teeth. Anyway. Despite Joshua's urgings, you feel compelled to speak to Amelia yourself. You approach the front of the house and note your surroundings. The house's exterior hints at the wealth of the occupants, but then again, so do most places in town. Directly across from the residence is a small church, whose religious iconography seems to have inspired the Harrises in the design of their own home. A bronze cross hangs over the front door, and decorative columns line the outside walls of the two-story house. All in all, the architectural style is somewhat Baroque, complete with a pair of carved angels lounging beneath the eaves that are just visible through the strange haze. You knock on the door and wait in the mist for a few moments, hoping for someone to hear you. Oh, too loud. All right. Thank you. Eventually, much to your relief, the widow Amelia answers the door. She's wearing a bright red dress. Uh-oh, it's the lady in red now, which accents her deep crimson lipstick. She appears to have taken great care over her appearance. She flashes you a smile and invites you inside. The house opens into a large foyer, and you see various crates and bundles stacked high along the walls. Just selling off a few of the more common things. Mind the mess, the porter hasn't come for it yet. She takes you by the hand to lead you past the stacks of items, helping you to pick your way through the deceased Professor Harris's assembled possessions. She takes you into a small drawing room full of antique furniture and offers you some coffee. After settling in and exchanging a few well-mannered pleasantries, you ask in more detail about the late Professor Harris. Amelia sighs theatrically and looks down at her hands. I can't imagine what you want to ask about, William. I found him in his study with the gun still in his mouth. What more could you want to know? Make a psychology roll. Hey, Professor Lycan. Professor Lycan, exclamation point, 1D100, and we need a 50 or below in order to succeed. 75 isn't going to do it. You have two options, Professor Lycan. You can spend 25 of our luck points. We have 59 remaining. You can spend 25 of those to automatically succeed, or if you want to use one of our remaining fickle god's favors, there are 3, then you can roll 1d10 and that will replace the tens unit of the 75. So you can just accept what you rolled and say, I guess I didn't get it. You can spend 20, and by the way, we don't really get luck back. You can spend 25 of our 59 luck, or you can spend a renewable resource of the Fickle God's Favors to roll a d10 and hopefully get a better tens place for your roll. Fickle gods do replenish between broadcasts. Well, the ability for them to be redeemed broadcasts, I should say. It's up to you all to actually make it happen. It's in total. It shouldn't be per redeemer. I think I have a daily limit for it. Which means for tomorrow, you all could cash in more for Fickle God favors if you wish. Okay, it's okay to fail. All right, Professor Lycan. You nod sympathetically. This woman is clearly uncomfortable talking about her deceased husband, and anyone would want to put that behind them. You pause for a moment, trying to frame your next question with a measure of sensitivity. You open your mouth to speak, but you are interrupted by a loud knock at the door. Amelia jumps up, startled, and stands there for a moment in confusion as the pounding on the door resumes. Police! Open the door! Amelia's face drains white as she goes to answer the knock. Your gut tells you something is wrong here. You feel uneasy about the officer at the door. You tell yourself you're being irrational and on edge, but you have some trouble fighting that feeling. You have a few precious moments to react. You can ignore your instincts and wait. Or we can take the chance to hide, making a stealth. And our stealth is at 35. So let's open up a minute poll. You can either wait and see what's happening, or you can try and hide. Our stealth is 35. It is a chance to hide, and I don't know if there's a penalty if we fail to hide. Everyone gets a vote. The poll is open for a minute. Get her done. Time's almost up. Get your votes in. I'm seeing 1 to 6 currently, but there's almost 30 of you out there watching. Come on, get your votes in. Man, a bunch of people are shy about voting on something like this. All right, 7 to 2, hide. All right. Sierra Echo. I want you to roll the stealth. I need a 35 or below. Show me what you got. 48. You can accept it and fail, spend 13 luck, or you can spend a Fickle God's favor. You get to choose one of those options. Hey, you will. Sierra Echo will accept it and fail this roll. All right. Your instincts get the better of you, and you feel compelled to make your escape. You rise from your seat looking for suitable exits. The only way that doesn't lead toward the entrance is through the kitchen. You don't know if there's an exit that way, but you think it's worth a shot. Unfortunately, you never get to take it. As you rise and head for the kitchen doorway, Officer Powell bursts into the room shouting, "Freeze! Police!" You glance over your shoulder and see his revolver leveled at you, and you go stiff. "You're under arrest for trespassing. You're gonna come with me. Now." He has you dead in his sights. Talking would do you little good as he's already caught you trying to flee the scene. You should probably do what he says. On the other hand, you could try to run. Staring down the barrel of a gun, the odds don't look good, but maybe you like your chances better with the gun than a prison cell. One minute poll is up. Vote, 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 vote. Get your vote in. It takes half of a second. It's very low effort. This is low-hanging fruit. But this is a cool and meaningful way to participate in our fun event on this warm, summery night. It's technically not summer yet, but it's close enough. It took you 2 seconds? Come on, Thantos, you're better than that. We don't know if he's Irish. I did not give him an Irish accent. 10 of you are voting now. All right. It's 6-4. Run for it. Come on, last second votes. Are you going to swing it? 6-4. Run for it. Hi, Rosewolf. You eye the barrel of the gun, weighing your chances. It doesn't look good, but you decide it beats the alternative. Your muscles tense, waiting to spring into action. You take a breath and go for it. You miscalculated just how slim your chances were. You manage to take one step before you hear the loud crack of the revolver. You feel a round slam into your chest, and then another. You stumble back, clutching at your wounds, doubled over in agony. You look up just in time to see Powell looming over you before he smashes the butt of the gun over your head. In a daze, you look down at the pool of blood forming around you. Your limbs start to go numb. The pain starts to recede, and you feel yourself growing cold. You know that you're going to die. The last thing you see is the glint of murder in the policeman's eyes. You have died. Your visit to Esbury is over. The end. Can I get some rips in chat, please? Welcome back, Night Mage. We're dead. DED dead. Oh yeah, no amount of clapping will bring us back from what just happened. This was a known belligerent holding a gun to us, told us to freeze, don't run, and chat wanted to run away from the belligerent. And we have no gun on us. We have no armor. So we could be the police officer instead of the professor. Man, Scannian, you are on a murder hobo mood tonight. I don't know if I missed what has you so riled up to just kill everything in town. This seems very unlike you. It might have. He's certainly gruff. He's not a nice officer. Now, the detective here. I actually have noir procedural music. Let me find it. All right. Now, I haven't read ahead. I don't know what the story is that lies ahead of us, okay? My two moods or instincts about this. Pardon me. I don't think we were set up. My suspicion is when we first... Now, he was gruff, okay? He's covered in scars. I don't think he set us up, Thantos, and this is why. We met him, he's very gruff. And frankly, he's the only policeman in a town full of very rich, foppish people. But where'd he get all those scars? What's going on? My instinct is, what if he's trying to protect people? And he needs to do that because he's surrounded by, ignorant people. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not an enforcer for the cult or something. That's a possibility, too. When we met him, he was just sitting back, smoking a cigar in the police station. He sent us to the mansion. After meeting, what was his name? Joshua? Joshua just disappeared. It seemed like he wanted to pull a gun on us and he didn't. I have a feeling Joshua went to go get the police. He tried to warn us to stay away from the mansion. And judging from the reaction of the widow, who was just as scared and startled of the police showing up, my instinct is that he asserted himself because something is going down. And maybe he wasn't trying to protect us per se. I don't know if it's like that. But by bursting in... Who sent us to the mansion? No one did. It was a choice. We could have just gone there. The original intention was we could just get on the ferry and leave. We could just get out of here. We have the professor's stuff. Presumably we can get on the ferry, cross the lake, and go back to Miskatonic. Mission accomplished. The decision was made instead to go to the police station to investigate the records of the deceased professor. When we get to the police station, then the policeman said, I'm not going to give you records. You don't have any legal right to them. If you want to ask, you can go ask the widow. And he told us where the place is. Yeah, the officer said, so we were sent there. Now, presuming it's the officer and not, I mean, look, we could get as, conspiratorial, it's a cultist morphed to look like so blah, blah, blah. What if he sent us there and he might be using that as an excuse to like bust in? Because this really concerned the widow, who is also, to us as the reader, our character was very ignorant of this, it seems. But she's fine with her husband having died. She's selling off his stuff. She was wearing black last night. Now she's not only in red, she's got lipstick on, and she's ready for an evening. So you think that Joshua, who left, called the police and claimed we broke in, and then the cop came thinking we were breaking in because we asked him about the records. Now, I will say, for what we know about him, it can be presumed, like, it looks like on our first impression, he's the type of guy who's just, waiting for a fight to happen. So that could be it as well. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Well, I suppose what we can do... Yeah, I don't know if I have enough time for that tonight, Professor Lycan, but I think for tomorrow night we can remake an investigator. We can remake an investigator, and we can start over and go from there. Oh, Aquamancer might be picking up on something here.